Hello friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, my name is Lauren Burleson and I'm the Canvas Queen. On this channel, I like to discuss all things Canvas, and I'm so excited to share with you today a conversation I had with some of my Canvas friends. This conversation was really fun. We talked about all of the things that we love about Canvas, our favorite things, I should say, in Canvas. Before I get into the main part of the video, I would love it if you would give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And also, don't forget to click that notification bell so you can always stay updated with new videos coming up. All right, so let's get into the video and you'll get to see the wonderful conversation I had with my Canvas friends discussing a few of our favorite things. All right, welcome back everybody. As you guys know, my name is Lauren Burleson. I'm the Canvas Queen, and today I have some really special guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get started and talk about and share our favorite things in Canvas. So thank you guys. And Sean, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then we'll get to Josh.
Sure. I'm Sean NUFER, and I work for TCH Education System. We've been using Canvas since 2013. So at this point, we're kind of veterans, and my role there is to help lead and train the teachers, the instructional designers, course developers on how to use Canvas and best approaches. And I also run a website, howtocanvas.com, and a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/howtocanvas, where I like to explore beyond the basics. I do like helping people set up modules and how to do their settings in Canvas, but then let's really explore what can Canvas really do for us. What's the back-end stuff? If we get into the code and try some really avant-garde approaches. And so I'm going to share a couple of tips with that as well. And fun trivia about me is I was actually one of the very first students to ever use Canvas. And I graduated from Brigham Young University, Hawaii, and I had already been graduated for a while, but in 2011, I decided to take a couple of online courses just so that I could stay sharp and keep my connections. And at that point, they were using Canvas. It was the first time they had ever used Canvas, and they were the first institution to ever use Canvas. And I was just blown away. We were using another LMS that no longer is on the market at the time. And there's so many gaps that Canvas was able to bridge. And so I was really excited. And then a couple years later, we brought it to our institution. And so, yeah, I've been a pretty heavy user of Canvas for a little while.
Yeah, what a fun fact. I did not know that. How cool. I know like tons of people talk about like Blackboard. So it's cool that you have like a first experience with Canvas. How cool. Awesome. Okay, Josh, take it away.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, Sean. I now don't have a fun fact that stands up to that. So I love it. I am Josh Owens. I'm currently the CEO of Boost, but I've been in education for a long time. I was a faculty member at Butler University for 5 years and at Indiana University, and teaching the econ and stats courses, but also helped them back almost 7 years ago build the first generation of their online and hybrid classes. So I've spent a lot of time building out courses, doing a lot of refining work in LMSs, Canvas included. And that's kind of led to this new research that we had been doing at Indiana University on how to improve student performance by getting them to turn in more assignments. And kind of our aha moment was to do it by using the data that already exists within Canvas to do that. And so Boost is just a plugin that makes it really easy for students to get reminders about assignments that they have that are upcoming, but they haven't yet submitted. And so for the last year and a half, that's what we've been doing. And we've got a number of universities and K through 12 school districts who have started using Boost to help their students perform better.
That's awesome. I can't wait to talk more about that.
That's thanks.
Really yeah. Okay, so let's kind of talk about and get into and demonstrate some of our favorite things. So Sean, you are like the I feel like the HTML Canvas guru. That's what I like to watch on your channel. So could you show us your Canvas tip and tricks?
Let's do it. Share my screen. I've got All right, so I set up a page so that I could walk through a couple of things. And first thing I want to show you, I want to show you two things. First is how to style a table, which is really simple, but it makes a huge impact in your courses. And so on this page here, I have two tables, and behind the scenes, the tables are pretty much identical. The data is identical, the structure of the tables are identical, but you notice on the left, it looks a lot different than the one on the right. The one on the right is more condensed for one. It has a little bit better styling. Every other row is highlighted. And as I hover my mouse cursor over, if you can see that, you get that fun little effect right there.
Oh, that's
And then
cool.
there's a line. In fact, let me try and bump up the screen a little bit so we can really see a little more of that. So yeah, you get some fun lines. And on the left, there's not much styling, and the only difference is that I put in some classes. I use some classes that are built into the Canvas infrastructure in order to get this effect. And so let's hop over to when I edit the screen, the tables are actually going to look identical because it's not till you publish that you see any difference. And so I have the first table here, and then the second table, all you have to do is grab this little bit of code right there. So the class with these 4 different classes, and you'll put it into the HTML. And that's where you have to have a little bit of courage if you've never been into the HTML editor. So I'm going to copy this code right here. I'll show you how I do this. Up into the HTML editor, and then I have to scroll up to the top of the screen here. There's a pretty HTML editor that you can use as well, and it kind of helps you make sense of things. And so here's the first table, and the way HTML does tables is there's an HTML tag that says, this is a table, and here's the header row, and here are the different cells, the different things that are in each cell. And here's another row, here's a row, and I have various rows. And so I'm going to look for the second table, and you notice that I have this code here, class equals, and then all you have to do is copy and paste. You don't have to know what all this stuff does, but one of these is to get that hover effect as your mouse hovers over the table. One is to get a striped effect, which you could do manually, but it's just a lot better to do this approach, because if you add new rows, then it'll automatically stagger the stripes and everything. So that's my one trick, is to grab this code, and I have it on my website, howtocanvas.com. I have a blog post dedicated to styling your table, and that's really all you have to do. And so let's go down and I'll show you in action. If we go to table, I'm just going to set up a new table, like a 3x3 table or something, and we'll put in like faculty and students, and we'll have the, I don't know, pre and post, whatever data we're wanting. And we'll say faculty did a 3 before, now they did a 7. Students were up to 4.2 and they got to 6.8. I don't know what these numbers mean. But if I were to save this, just the pre-built table, you're going to see it doesn't look all that great. It looks kind of meh, and you can go in the rich content editor and specify the width. For example, maybe I don't want this table to span the entire width of the page, so I can go into the options and say I want that to be 50%, or I want that to be 500 pixels width, whatever. And I can save that, or you can drag and drop manually. Yeah. Then I just grab that little code that I have here, and we're going to find that table. Again, it's a 3x3 table, and here it is. And so I'm going to just replace this table code and paste in the new table code. And then I'm going to take the width out. In fact, I think we have width done there. And then when I save that, let's hop down here. And so now you can see that effect. Now I don't have a header row. You have to define the header row, which I usually do in the HTML, or the behind the scenes. Yeah, you get this effect. And edit, maybe I don't want it to span the entire width like I was saying before. And so you can balance between, you don't have to spend the whole time in the HTML editor. I can go here and say, let's make this a width of 400 pixels or something, and save that. Yeah, so nice snazzy way. It's so easy, to snazzy up your tables. And so you don't want to be stuck with what they give you, and so Yeah, what that's doing is condensing the table, it's staggering the rows, it's adding a little bit of formatting, and it's giving you this cursor effect as you hover over.
Yeah, I think that's great. Especially, I just think visuals, whether you're K through 12 or higher ed in Canvas, is just super important. So any way you can like see some sort of difference between rows is great.
Yeah, and
It
if you
makes
can
such a
make
big
it
difference for the students.
Yeah.
absolutely. The easier the content is to read and the more appealing it is, the more they're going to read. And that's what you want. There's no given that since I put Word on a Canvas page, of course, my students are going to read all those words because they're good students and and they're in my class. It's like, no, you got to fight for their attention. You don't want everything to be confetti and, bells and whistles necessarily, but subtle things that you can do to just make it easier to read is going to go a long way.
Yeah, if it's not easy for you as the instructor or the teacher, it's not going to be easy for your students. So you need to make it pop a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
The next
great.
tip, so that's pretty practical, I think. And now let's have a little bit of fun. As I said, you don't want to have the bells and whistles and confetti. Let's look at some confetti, to be honest. And that's
Yes.
this next thing. We're going to look at a parallax effect that you can put into Canvas. And
Ah,
that's how I have this image and see how it scrolls. And I have content going over the image, and I can swap out the image for another
it's like
one.
a website. I just
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like I'm on a Wix website or something.
That's actually what I did. I went in and I was looking at websites, getting ideas like what are they doing that I could be doing in Canvas, and I came
Yeah.
across this on W3 Schools, and then it took a little bit of tinkering, a little bit of fudging things around, because CSS doesn't always play well in Canvas, and so in order to get this effect, you actually have to have access to the institution's theme editor or work with somebody, one of the designers or one of the Canvas admins who has access to the theme editor, and you'll add this little bit of code to your CSS file in Canvas. And you can call it whatever you want. I called it Parallax. And then there's just these little properties right here. Not little, but it's few, in terms of CSS. This isn't much. And you can call it whatever you want, but then you'll refer to it down there. So there's a CSS portion and there's an HTML portion. The HTML portion will be on your Canvas page. The CSS is just going to live in the Canvas servers, and you can call on it. And so then you'd call on the class. And so it took a bit of a trial and error, some blood, sweat, and tears for me to come up with this effect, how it works in Canvas. But this is how I have it. So on the Canvas page, you'd put a div, and a div is an HTML element that it isn't anything. It's just a container, and it is whatever you put inside of it. It's kind of like a Tupperware container that only appears when you put your rice or your corn into it, and then it's like, okay, now I'm the shape of this. And so I have a div with the class of Parallax, and that's just because I called this Parallax. I could call that Sean is amazing, and then I just have to make sure the class is also Sean is amazing. And then I put a style, which is a background image, and that's where I get the URL to the image. And I'm going to show you right now how to get that. You need to put a height and a width. It's very important to define it. And so these images are all 100% wide, so they span the width of the screen. And then I changed the height. So this first one has a height of, I don't know, that's probably 1,000 pixels. And this one's probably about 400 pixels or so. And so you just have to define how big is this thing. And how it works is the image is stationary as the website scrolls. And usually the image will scroll along with the website. And I'm saying, no, keep the image right here. And so it gives that effect that I wish I had better visuals than my hands to show that. But and then important thing is you have to put a space, an ampersand NBSP, which is in a non-breaking space, semicolon, because there has to be something in the div. And once I figured that out, that was the aha moment. I'm like, yes, this works. And so yeah, let's take a look at, let's put a parallax effect real quick in there. Oh, I need to grab that code that we had. So I'm going to just copy this real quick. And of course, URL, I'm going to replace with a regular URL. So let's put this right here. And my trick, it's kind of a little HTML hack, is I put a bunch of characters that I can easily see, because when you're in here, it gets a little bit cluttered. And so then I can easily search for where I wanted that. So that's kind of a placeholder for me, and I'll hit a few hard enters, and then I have my code there. So all I need is a URL. And so if you uploaded an image into Canvas, you would just grab that image. Or if I go on to Unsplash, I like going on to Unsplash to find things, and I can search for, street photography. That would be really interesting. Let's see what they have on street photography. And I like an image that's wide because they're going to blow up the image really big. And so you need to make sure it's high resolution, that it's not some blurry thing. And you can download this, upload it, or I just copy the image address, honestly, and then I'll just paste that image address into there. I can say the height, I want that to be, what do we want? 600 pixels, 1000 wide, and I'll save that. Let's see how that looks. It looked like a really interesting image, and so I think it'll be fun. Yeah, so there it is, just from Unsplash.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Pretty fun effects. I have one thing I want to show you is the concept of parallax versus not parallax. So I created this section here so you can compare. It's 2 columns. I used Bootstrap to create 2 columns of identical content, except for one has a parallax image, the other has a stationary image. And so on the right, that's what a Canvas page usually looks like as it scrolls along. And so I put the same image, and then you can see that parallax effect. And this last one, I forgot to put the parallax, or to take out the parallax effect here. And I thought, well, that's actually kind of interesting in itself. And then I have 2 columns, and because the image, it's actually 2 images, but the images are in the same place and they stay there. And so it looks like, I don't know, it's kind of a fun effect, you know?
Yeah, very cool. Definitely different and unique, and definitely like captures your eyes and engaging.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing your favorite things. Some of your favorite things. Yeah, I like that.
Those are awesome. Yeah, those are really cool.
Okay, so with code, HTML has become some of my favorite things, like all the little tips and tricks. And so I'm going to present real quick some of my favorite HTML stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do shortly is, this is my Canvas HTML editor code key. So for those people who are not HTML savvy whatsoever, they can basically go to any page on here. It's just a Google Doc, go to whatever slide, and then they can copy the code and paste it into Canvas HTML editor. So my favorite thing is tabs. And that's because it breaks apart really long pages. So like students, whoever is on Canvas, they're not scrolling for forever, because I've seen some pretty long pages. So I'm just going to really quickly copy this code that I have, that I've saved. And in my Canvas course, I've just opened up a page, and I'm going to go to the HTML editor here and paste my tabs. So you can see here all of the, like, I can put in different titles here for each tab. So I'll title this one, let's do tab 1. So we can see just like a difference when I go and save it. And then you can get really crazy with tabs too. Oh no, it didn't. Oh, there we go. It loaded. Huh. Okay, I was worried there.
A moment to think.
It needed to process, yes. But you can see all the different tabs, and you can add different content, and you can change the color of the tabs. You can change the font within the tabs and get really fun. And that's, I know like my K through 12 teachers love color and different types of font. That's our thing. So yeah, so I'll just show you like how to add within the tabs, little tips and tricks here. So you have, let's say you're back in HTML, and I just kind of like Sean showed you, we have like put the content for the first tab here. So, and you can edit that however you want, but then this entire row is like a division. It's a tab. So we can insert whatever images we want. So let's upload a random image, and we can do it from Unsplash as well. And we'll search school. And we'll put books on that slide. or on that division tab. So that way, when I save that, save, and of course it has to think. There you go. It's on the first tab, but it's not on the second or the third. So it allows you to break up your Canvas page. That's my first favorite thing. And on my page, I actually use tabs on my homepage here. And so you can see this is my homepage for 8th grade science. And I've got a lot of stuff here and it ends at the bottom. And then I have like my syllabus, and I do syllabus a little different. I know Canvas has like their own syllabus navigation tool, but I like to break it up into pages. And then we have like our course schedule and things like that, which of course I need to update. It's not January anymore. Our links, and then information for parents. So the second that a student enters their course, they've got excuse me, they've got all the important stuff right there. So that's my first favorite thing. My next favorite thing has to do with redirect tool. So all of these lovely navigation tools on the side here, let me kind of zoom in, you can add whatever link you want. So you don't have to just have assignments, discussion, grades, people, etc. And of course, you can add external apps, which Josh is going to show us in a second, I'm sure. You can add whatever links you want. So you have the redirect tool, you can type in any web, we can even do the school's website, you know, so that would be really easy. And then put in whatever URL, whatever link you want, and then add it into your navigation from right there. So that's really helpful as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me right there. I'm short and sweet to the point.
I love those tabs though, because it keeps everything so like condensed, which I know I've watched students before, especially in my online classes, and they would just be like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling for the piece of information, and it gets long. I mean, it is really nice when you can separate it like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's even really great like if you're creating a page that's like a reading in Canvas, and to break it up, you can like do like the chapters of a book or something, or different lessons, things like that. So it is kind of nice in that way to break it up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks. Okay, so I think showing how to use that, all the apps and the links and things, that could lead us right into your favorite thing, Josh, that you're going to show us.
Yeah, it's perfect. No, well, my favorite thing is the thing I've been working on for the last year or two. It's Boost. And I'll just share my screen real quick as well. I just have a quick, I guess, overview of the Boost app. And the reason that I'm showing it as different screens is because the Boost app is a separate standalone app, but my co-founder, Ben Motes, he is a research scientist at Indiana University. And like I mentioned, we were trying to solve this general problem of, we know that about 80 to 85% of assignments are turned in. And we know that the number one predictor of, is a student going to do well in a class and are they engaged, is, are they turning in their assignments? And it makes sense. Like if you're not turning in your assignments, who knows, there could be life things going on. They could not understand what's happening in the class. They might be confused, but all of that can just kind of spiral out of control really quickly. I know we've all seen that happen. And so we wanted something that was really easy and that could catch them and could just help remind them that, hey, these things are coming up, and not spam them with anything else. So it's really focused on, do they have an assignment that's upcoming, but they haven't yet submitted it? And so like I mentioned, Boost works really straightforward. It's an app that students can download in the Apple or Google app stores. They can download it for free. And once you do that, you use your Canvas or your school account to link it. And then from there, what Boost basically does is it goes into Canvas. It pulls out all the data that you as the teacher have put into it. And it sends students reminders for anything that they have upcoming, but they haven't yet submitted. And I guess one of the things that we've really thought about a lot when we were doing this was we wanted to give students a lot of granular control over that data and what they were getting notifications about. And so what we've actually seen, which has been really cool, is a lot of students will turn off notifications for some classes, either because the workload isn't that much, or they have a really good relationship with the teacher, or they know exactly what's going on. They're not that stressed about it. But there's other classes that they really feel like they don't know what's going on, or maybe the assignments are really irregular. So it's easy to forget that there's something that they need to bring in or do that day. And because of that, these notifications have been really successful. So we kind of did everything backwards. We did the research first with students at IU, and then we've expanded it out to both K through 12 students, 6th grade and up, I should specify, and then community colleges and other places. But on average, what we've found is if a student is earning a B through an F in a class, if they download and start using Boost to get notifications about assignments, they'll increase their assignment submission rates by 15% on average. And then that has a result, because they're turning in more assignments and they're getting more points, a 10%. So basically a full letter grade increase in their grades. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
been so fun to see. And a lot of it just goes back to, like, honestly, being in the classroom and being in the classroom as well. We both just had a really, I think, view of students of, I mean, yeah, some don't want to do the work and that kind of stuff, but truthfully, most of them do. It's just life happens, or they get confused, or there's a lot going on, and things fall through the cracks. And we all know a semester or a term can get really long, and all of a sudden it's hard to keep up. And so, I think really Boost is trying to keep students and meet them where they are, and the easiest place to find them is on their phones. And so we're using it to our advantage to send them push notifications. The only last things that I would probably say about Boost is because we do plug into Canvas data, obviously, we take student data really seriously. We don't store any data or anything like that. We have an API access to the student via the school. And so that is something that we don't store any personal information or anything like that. We basically go and find that information every 30 minutes to make sure that we can update the student on any assignments that they need. And then the last thing that I would just say is, obviously, we all know things pop up during a class, and sometimes we as teachers don't always have time to to fix Canvas or to put the assignment in or do that. And so we've added this like add activity functionality where a student can input something that maybe they want to be reminded about, but isn't in Canvas itself. And we're actually working to make that easier for students to share it to other students, so that we can kind of fill in the picture when maybe not everything is exactly there for them already at the beginning of the semester. So we've been really excited by all of that. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but would that be like if the teacher forgot, for example, to like put an assigned due date, and then the student could do it themselves on their phone?
So we've seen it from everything from like students using it because they maybe want to break an assignment into different pieces, and so they want to do the outline this week, and then they want to do something. So we've seen students doing it for that reason, which has been really cool. And then also, you're exactly right, where just something came up and maybe it slipped the teacher's mind, or they talked about it in class, but they didn't update Canvas. And so students are going in and saying, hey, I got a quiz on Thursday. I need to make sure that I'm prepared for that. And if you can see kind of here from the screenshot, we let them attach it to a class. And so that way they get the notification specifically for that class. So it's been really exciting to see how students have been using it. We've got thousands of students using it already across, like I said, K through 12 school districts and in universities and community colleges, which has been really exciting. It's free for students to download, for parents to use as well, which we've seen a lot of that for we know with modalities changing and courses still going kind of between hybrid and online and in person for some school districts. That's been really helpful for parents to just be able to have a little more peace of mind that their student was completing the work, and for the student to build that expectation of staying on top of all their stuff. Obviously, teachers do a lot along the way, but I mean, we're asked to do so much that there's only so many things that the teachers can do, and this is one thing that we think we can kind of take off the plate and make life a little bit easier for everybody.
This is great. This just makes me think of like a digital agenda basically, with
Yeah.
great reminders.
Yeah, and I think as we continue to grow, I mean, obviously there's like notifications and things within Canvas, but these are
Yeah.
specifically, this is a hole that Canvas doesn't fill, and it's something that students have really been asking about, and it's really around assignments that are upcoming that you haven't yet submitted. So it's really targeted and focused on the thing we know can actually get students to work, or to get the work done. Our website, just real quick for everyone, is www.boost.education. You can find out a lot more information there. You're exactly right. As we kind of talk about it, you can see the types of reminders that we send, but also how we think of it as kind of like the planner for students to be able to use, download links, but also a little bit of information there. But also like our research and all the things that we've done to kind of prove it out from the start. And if a school district is interested in offering it to their students, down here at the bottom, you can just put your information in there. So long as we can talk to the Canvas administrator at the school, we can get you set up within a few days and have it available for students to use.
Awesome.
That's great. And I can see a lot of application in higher education as well for my students. Like, for example, we have discussion boards a lot, and a discussion board isn't just one due date. It's like, put your initial post on Wednesday, but then you need a reminder on Friday, like, have you submitted a response to anybody? And we're still curating and monitoring the discussion through the weekend, but Canvas doesn't let me put 4 different due dates for one assignment. It's like, what day is it due? It's like, well, I could put Sunday because that's when it closes, but they got stuff to put on Wednesday and Friday. So I usually put it on Wednesday, and then I have to let them know, like, it's not done. This assignment's not done until Sunday. There's still other things to do. Or a lot of times I work with capstone projects, and there's milestones along the way, and I can try and program those into Canvas as assignments, and I try and do that as much as I can. But I also want students to have autonomy so that they can approach a capstone in a way that's meaningful for them and that's applied to, especially if I have like business psychology students, that's applied to their field, or behavioral economics, or if they're working full time, I want them to have the flexibility to use their own company and projects to complete the course activities. And it's hard to really accommodate some of that with universal design sometimes. And so I can see something like this where they can really take ownership. And that's my thing. I like to empower students and have them take ownership of the curriculum, and not just say, this is my curriculum, you're going to write a paper, and then you're going to do a discussion post, and then you're going to do A, B, and C, and then the course is done. It's like, great. I got a bunch of captive students for a semester instead of engaged learners,
No, you're exactly right. We've seen it, and Lauren, exactly like you were saying, Sean, as you were alluding to. I mean, we've already seen students starting to use it to kind of break up those assignments into multiple pieces, and we've just been excited to be able to, I think, supplement Canvas in a really useful way for students and take a little bit of work off of teachers too. So,
yeah. Well, there's so many tools now that you can use in Canvas, and I think this is a great one. I'm so excited that you were able to join us today and share it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been really exciting. We're so glad that we built it out. We were in talks with Canvas as we built it out. This was something that they were kind of hoping a hole would get filled. So yeah, again, if a school district is using Canvas and they're interested in offering this to their students, they don't have to wait till the beginning of semester or anything like that. We can get you up and running within about a week, and they're available from their students to download from there.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was fun. We should do it again soon. I'm going to have more information linked in the description of this video below, so you can go check out Boost, and you can also go check out all of Sean's amazing videos. Again, he is the HTML guru. That's what I'm calling him from now on. And again, just thank you guys so much for being with me here today. And for all of you at home, we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lauren. See y'all.
See ya. Bye. Awesome. Again, I just want to thank Sean and Josh so much for doing this collaboration with me. It was an honor to have them on my channel and discuss their favorite things. If you have a favorite thing, I would love it if you'd make a comment in the comment section below. Tell us what you love about Canvas. Don't forget to give this video a like, especially if you want to see more collaborations in the future. That way I know we should keep doing videos like this. And yeah, I just am so excited that I had this opportunity, and I'm glad that you guys got to see it as well. Lastly, in the description below is all the important information for you guys and some free resources, of course, on how to do everything that Sean and I showed you, as well as Josh and Boost. So if you just head on to the description of this video, you'll find links and more resources, and just have at it. Freebies are always really great. All right, well, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see